emergency has arisen, and we are prepared to convene the meeting. We'll call the meeting to order, and our first item is to approve the minutes from our meeting of April 1st.
Move we approve.
Have a motion and a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Minutes are approved. Sir, we are prepared.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and committee members. Well, today happens to be our first day of fiscal year 2013-2014. So we're hoping that we do as good as we did the past fiscal year. We have two items for your consideration today. The first item, we are requesting $110,000 from the 2007 general obligation bond street proposition to be allocated to a resurfacing project on MacArthur Boulevard from Northwest 23rd to Northwest 30th Street. This is a resurfacing project that has federal participation. Oklahoma DOT will be bidding this project, and it is in the Transportation Improvement Program federal fiscal year 2014, which starts this October. In order to design and get the project ready for bidding by ODOT, we need to have this fund available, and it is 20% share that the city is paying. The scope involves milling the existing pavement and overlaying it with asphalt. Also, any intersection that has some driveways and intersection we need to have by federal law need to provide the American with Disability Act wheelchair ramps. So those will be provided where applicable. And the striping after it's all finished. We are hoping that the environmental clearance process be cleared as soon as possible by ODOT. That has been submitted to ODOT. Because they are backlogged, it'll take a few months for them to clear the environmental process, but we are hoping that we can bid this project January, February, and be able to start on the project, in spring, which is the best time to start on a project like this. Any question that I can accommodate?
I have one. It appears to me to be unusual that you would have state money in a road that and our federal money that in a road that appears to be just a plain old section line road. What has occurred here?
Did you say about the condition?
Well, did you not say that there was some federal money or state money in this?
There is federal money.
Well, I'd like to understand how that occurs.
Oh, how the process works? How we submit the project for selection? Is that what you're asking?
Yes, if they don't, I don't hear their name or their money mentioned in many other projects that appear to be the same.
Okay, let me explain that then. Every year around November, ACOG, which is the local metropolitan planning organization that has all the municipalities in the area, including Oklahoma City, we submit projects that we feel they need to be improved, and there's criteria for each project. For instance, for resurfacing projects, if the condition of the road is poor, you get more points. So you go through also the traffic count. If you have a very high traffic count, high accident, if you are in the congested area, you get points for that. So all these projects get submitted to ACOG, and then they go through a selection process based on the point system, and whoever gets the highest point, then the selection takes place. So every year we submit 20 to 30 projects, but we may get 7 or 8 plus minus.
I see.
And to give you an idea, this year, this federal fiscal year 2013 that is still on, there's $26 million because $8 million came from last fiscal year that was unspent, but next fiscal year is going to be down to 18 again. So usually there's $18 million a year available for the region, for federal share. And this federal share is only for construction costs. So the municipalities have to pay for their design, pay for their own right-of-way clearance, pay for everything prior to construction.
I see. Are there any other questions concerning this project?
Move to approve. Joe, Mr. Chairman, I have a question too. I'm the newest member on this committee, so I've got a pretty steep learning curve, so forgive me for my ignorance. But so Oklahoma City, the city of Oklahoma City put in this project for consideration to ACOG.
Yes.
And of course, ACOG is an association of several communities. How does ACOG, how is Oklahoma City represented within ACOG? I assume we're the largest municipality.
Yes.
How does that weight, if you will, for lack of a better term, in terms of the city, of course, the representative from ACOG, I'm sure, would be supportive of this. How does that work? Is it numbers-wise, or however, or is it the size of our city gives us a little more leverage?
It used to be that the federal money was basically distributed based on the population. So Oklahoma City used to be the guarantee of 54%. But since they went to a criteria, now every city has to compete for that portion. But no city can have more than 54% of that federal share. So, we try to put projects in that will get the most points for us. Of course, we improve the streets, but on the hindsight, we are also at the kind of disadvantage because, we improve the streets, but we got a lot of streets that the traffic count is very low, accident is very low, so we can't really compete for that federal funds. Cities like Norman, Edmond, they have growing communities, and, they have streets that without even doing any design plans, they are already at, high points. So it's very, hard to compete sometimes.
So the city of Oklahoma City, is it the number of votes? I mean, how is it weighted, say, compared to Choctaw or Midwest City or another community like that? How are those, they're sitting around at a table, a project comes up, and there's a vote, I take it?
Basically, Oklahoma City gets a good share of the funds so far. But, like this next fiscal year or the fiscal year after, City of Norman was able to get 54% of the share because of their, one of their street, Lindsay Street is one of the, congested area. It needs, a lot of improvements. So they've been able to get basically 54% of the fund. So it depends on, how the projects fare. But we try to put, the projects that we feel will compete well with other cities.
That we have a motion? We have a motion.
We had a motion.
We have a second. Motion and a second. All in favor of this project? Usual sign.
Aye.
Aye. The
All right, the
motion
second-
is approved.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, sir.
Second item is a traffic request. We have basically unit price annual contract that their purpose is to basically take care of, situations like emergencies or, if a traffic signal is hit over a weekend, we have those contractors on call to send out and fix those traffic signals. And usually this fund is used from the unlisted money. And this contract is up for being renewed, so we like to transfer some fund into it, so we be able to make repairs whenever they're necessary. So we are requesting a total of $113,176.37 from the 2007 obligation bond, of which $7,855.43 comes from the interest fund of the traffic, and $105,320.94 comes from the unlisted traffic funds. It is, can be renewed up to 2 years if there's funds available. So that's a 3-year contract potentially. Any questions?
Are there any questions concerning this project? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion.
So moved.
We have a motion. Second.
Second.
Second. Have a motion and second for the approval of this item. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Now, I do have a question, generally. I note that in intersections like these, I have recently seen one with 4 cameras in the intersection on the same pole structures as the lights. Are we being watched? And who pays for that? Are these bond funds being used for that purpose as well?
No, the cameras that you see are video detection. Used to be that we had to basically cut the pavement to put the loop detectors, so when the cars go over it, it would be detected, and then it would give more green lights to the other side. But with the cameras, it basically does the same thing, but more efficiently.
It doesn't. The way I understand it from working with Traffic Commission is it doesn't record the actual vehicles, but it's color contrast of dark and light, so they can't really be used for purposes of accident reconstruction or anything like that, or seeing who was at that intersection. It just shows color contrast so the intersection knows when a car is approaching, so it can change.
Or based on the size of the vehicle, you could tell that if it's a semi-truck or a passenger car.
I see. We're a little more suspicious in the hood. What can I say? Okay. Thank you, sir. We have informational items from staff.
Yes, if I may, this is it's a 8-page report, but basically I like to summarize for you. We had a goal of $70 million in bond funds to be encumbered last year, or this fiscal year that just passed. I'm pleased to announce that we have met the projects that we had to award for construction. Among all of this are basically award of construction. You will see engineering contract funds, any change order that are happening during construction, and easement purchased. There's a number of things here. But as far as the projects themselves, there were 29 total projects, of which 17 were street projects, 2 were drainage, there were 2 bridge projects, 3 parks projects, 2 fire projects, 2 police projects, and 1 library. Of course, these are, majority of them are listed projects, but there are also unlisted projects in this list that you will see. So we have a total of $67.5 million, which is very close to our goal. And the reason for that coming down is some of the bids came under our estimate, which is good. We like that. So that's how we were below the $70 million. Any questions before I go to the next information item? And again, all of these are listed under ward number. If you are, have any questions about any of these projects, I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Okay. Is there any new business to come before? You're finished, right? Oh, you're still, okay, sorry.
Are we ready for next fiscal
Yes,
or this fiscal
absolutely,
year?
absolutely.
Fiscal year 2013-2014, again, we are setting a $70 million goal for this fiscal year. And what we are listing here is what is planned so far. And these are basically all the construction awards that we are looking at. We have a total of 31 projects, and 2 of these are going to be ODOT projects, which basically in those cases we only pay the 20%. So the fund that you see here is only 20% of the share, and they will be bid by Oklahoma DOT. There are a total of 31 projects we are looking at this fiscal year. Majority of it are going to be streets, about 14 of them, 2 in drainage. We have more bridges this year, 5. We have 7 parks projects, 1 fire station, 1 police headquarter building. And also we have expansion of Central Maintenance Facility Phase 1. That project is going to be in several phases, and this is the Phase 1 at the maintenance facility on Southwest 15th Street. With that, I open it to any questions you have.
Not specifically about this. I have a more general question. Should I hold off to that, Mr. Chairman?
Go ahead, please, go ahead.
Correct me, I'm beginning to try to kind of get a handle on all this. So on the listed projects, of course, those were determined some time ago, and I think I understood that 85% of the bond issue is for listed projects. Is that sort of kind of right? 70. How much? 70%. 70%. And so the other 30% is for change orders, for other projects that might come up important. Is that correct? Are there ever any times when committee members have ideas, or is all this kind of, the ideology for all this is staff determined and then brought to this body? How does that?
Sure. Not all propositions have 30%. For instance, the streets, I believe it's like maybe 12 to 15% of the total proposition. So it's not exactly 30%, but some others have more, some have less for unlisted. The unlisted is basically any citizen complaints that come along. We have street maintenance that look at projects. We get them from different sources, such as citizen surveys. Also, the city council, city manager's office, they have, requests coming in. So it's a variety of requests that comes in, and we go through a criteria basis to make sure those projects are, have more priority to spend the unlisted funds.
Okay, I understand that. Then the second question is, then for follow-up, is there any language that kind of would help one, again, who doesn't know much about this, is learning this process, that would kind of get a handle, an explanation on the kinds of projects or the parameters within that? Does that make sense, my question?
Sure.
Yes, we've got
Go ahead.
some administrative procedures that were adopted by council, and if you don't have a copy of those yet, we'll be glad to get them.
Maybe, did you might have sent that to me?
You might have received it, but if you can't locate it, we'd be glad to get you another copy.
You would do that in...
Sure.
And tell me what part of the...
Sure. And I'd be glad to visit with you about it.
All right, thank you.
Is there any new business to come before this body?
Thank you.
Any items from committee members? Citizens to be heard. Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Say aye.